actions. The Battle of Sallan was military actions between Soviet and Finnish troops in the territory of the Sallan municipality during the Soviet-Finnish War of 1939 to 1940. The clash was triggered by the advance of the Soviet 122nd Rifle Division of the 9th Army in the Kandalaksha direction. Although the division's offensive did not achieve its objective, it became the only unit of the 9th Army that managed to avoid encirclement and heavy losses during this war. From November 30, 1939, until mid-December, when the Finns formed the Lapland Group of troops, the Soviet 9th Army faced only 5 Finnish battalions along a 400-kilometer front, which employed maneuverable defense tactics. The 122nd Rifle Division, which became part of the 9th Army, was transferred to the area of Kandalaksha just before the war from Belarus. Its right flank was almost 250 kilometers away from the units of the 14th Army, while its left flank was almost 250 kilometers away from the units of the Ukta Group of the 9th Army. The 122nd Rifle Division was assigned to advance in the area of Alakurdi, Salla, and was subsequently ordered to advance along the railway towards Kemi, Tornio, where it was to connect with the troops of the 14th Army. On November 30, 1939, at 3 p.m., the 596th Infantry Regiment and the attached 273rd Mountain Rifle Battalion almost without resistance occupied the village of Alakurdi, which the Finns had burned during their retreat. The following day passed without fighting. The Finns were retreating, mining the roads behind them. On December 2, the 1st Battalion of the 596th Regiment and the Cavalry Squadron of the 153rd Reconnaissance Battalion, advancing toward the heights located 26 kilometers west of Alakurdi, were met with machine gun and mortar fire from well-camouflaged positions of the Finnish 22nd Border Battalion. Despite minor losses, the cavalrymen dismounted, leaving their horses under fire. The units deployed and took cover. After some time, 2 battalions of the 596th Regiment and the 273rd Regiment, along with regimental artillery, arrived. The second attack at 4 p.m. on December 3 forced the enemy to abandon the heights. In the Finnish trenches, 10 corpses were found, and 3 Finns were captured. The division's units incurred losses of 24 killed and 89 wounded. On December 11, the Finns attempted to resist at the village of Mjarkajärvi. However, they only managed to dig firing positions while lying down and were unable to replace the heavily damaged Sallan battalion with the reserve battalion, and for some reason did not destroy the bridge. As a result, 2 tanks from the Soviet 100th Separate Tank Battalion managed to cross the bridge, broke into the enemy's rear, and destroyed their supplies. The Finns hurried to retreat, unable to burn down the village. As trophies, the Soviet troops captured 8 machine guns. On December 14, the forward battalion of the 420th Rifle Regiment, along with a company from the Tank Battalion, captured the village of Korsu. On the same day, at 8 p.m., Finnish ski units, having outflanked the forward battalion, attacked the regimental artillery and the battery of the 285th Artillery Regiment. The artillerymen were forced to fire grapeshot and even used their personal weapons. Many horses were killed, but the guns themselves suffered almost no damage. The 20th Battalion of the 420th Regiment arrived to assist the artillerymen, after which the Finns retreated. On the same day, the 596th Rifle Regiment, supported by the 9th Separate Tank Battalion, attempted to capture the heights along the road 69 kilometers west of Kuolojärvi. The attack was unsuccessful, and the Finns destroyed 3 Soviet tanks with anti-tank guns. By the evening of December 16, the 420th Rifle Regiment reached the eastern outskirts of the village of Itsijärvi. On December 17, it attacked the positions of the Finns, but unsuccessfully. On the same day, the 175th Rifle Regiment and the Sapper Battalion of the 122nd Division arrived at the front. Meanwhile, the 273rd Mountain Rifle Regiment, together with the 153rd Reconnaissance Battalion and a company from the 596th Rifle Regiment, seized the crossing over the Kemijoki River near the village of Pelkasniemi, suffering 20 killed and 46 wounded, as well as losing 3 T-38 tanks. On December 18, the 420th Rifle Regiment, along with the 715th Rifle Regiment Battalion, again attempted to advance on the enemy positions without success. The 715th Regiment Battalion lost contact with the main forces, faced a counterattack from the enemy, and suffered heavy losses. The battalion commander and political officer were wounded. As a result of the neighbors' failure, the 420th Regiment had to withdraw 2 kilometers to the rear. On December 19, the Finns counterattacked the units of the 122nd Rifle Division that had crossed the Kemijoki River, and the Soviet troops retreated 14 kilometers to the north. Their losses amounted to 27 killed and 73 wounded. On the same day, two battalions of the 596th Rifle Regiment and the 715th Rifle Regiment again attacked four Finnish battalions that had taken up positions near Itsijärvi. The 715th Regiment unsuccessfully advanced from the front. At that time, one battalion of the 596th Regiment reached the northern outskirts of the settlement, while the other, through a flanking maneuver, reached the second line of the enemy's defense, but instead of hitting the enemy's rear, its commander decided to wait for a favorable moment to strike at the retreating cavalry. As a result, the Finns repelled the assault from the front, counterattacked, and encircled the battalion. While breaking through to their own, the battalion suffered heavy losses in personnel and abandoned all its machine guns. After this, the command of the 9th Army ordered to concentrate the division's units to the northwest and southwest of Kuolojärvi. On January 3, 1940, Finnish troops attempted to seize Soviet artillery positions but were repelled. On January 4, the Finns made another attempt, but the result was the same. On January 13, the 122nd Division was ordered to retreat to the area of Jarkulla. After that, active operations in this section of the front ceased.